We ain't going nowhere. We got a lot of shit to do. You know, white supremacy culture often tells us that we should have the answers. White supremacy culture also tells us not to be vulnerable and not to share your story because vulnerability isn't sexy or appealing or it's not professional. As a leader, I actually have learned over this course of time that owning my story and sharing it and being vulnerable is actually a sense of strength.
We got to grow with each other, you know, and just from the first time I felt comfortable. I was transparent about who I was and where I've been and what I'm doing in my life. And just being that kind of way is exciting. It's like you're talking to your family, and that's what it grew into, man. I really feel that.
Who am I? Vanessa Rios, that's my Anglo name. And I throw the accent in there. But I'm an East Sider, and when I say East Sider, I mean East Los, East LA. I'm a child of trauma, child of homelessness, every ism you can think.
I was formerly incarcerated. I did 24 years on a 25 life sentence. And I always tell people I shouldn't be here. I know I clown, but I've never been on vacation, you know? And I always tell them my whole joke is I was on vacation for 24 years. I don't need no more. I'm working for a great organization. We started this organization inside the prison walls. And I ended up becoming the vice president. When I came home, I started the first transitional house that we had so we can help other people in our community, not just the people who are formerly incarcerated, but everybody with barriers.
I work in the space of peer workforce development. What that means is individuals who've had traumas or history of homelessness or touched, you know, institutions. What does it mean to bring them back to work? What supports are needed, and how we include individuals who historically were intentionally excluded. Professionally, I'm at a time of growth, but I also know strategically in terms of upward mobility, it's about visibility, right? You have opportunities when you are known. So coming into the space of the fellowship, it's about relationships. But as I started to build community and relationships, I began to grow. So allowing myself the opportunity to come into the space was really important for me because it allowed me the opportunity to connect with others with similar stories, as well as to have visibility and opportunities to advance. Gaining those relationships, right? It answered the question that I was trying to ask myself in work is like, why are folks leaving? And there is spaces and opportunities where we can create spaces for folks, especially BIPOC individuals who, you know, might have feel excluded or might not feel heard. And you can keep going down the list of things, but to have this space and to feel of value and to feel heard and just to feel connected to people was very different.
We always have to have the button-up shirt and tie, you know, when we're going into that supremacist world. You know, we have to play them games. We have to play by their rules. And it's a lot of times you don't get to do that. You're under a certain supervision. You can't express who you are and not have to code shift. You know, I felt comfortable. I wouldn't drive from Lancaster down the hill just to go sit around with some people I don't know, but I knew you guys, you know? It was like we've been together for years.
No, I want to second what Cortez is saying is the spaces that we often navigate as leaders in the field require BIPOC folks to code switch. And there is such beauty in the ability to code switch when and when not to, right? Even when we navigate as an advocate, places like DPSS, when we navigate a courtroom, when we're advocating for somebody. In my own life, I've been a good advocate for others. But when it comes to advocating for yourself, it's a completely different story. So to advocate that I deserve to be in this space amongst peers to talk about things that might make my leaders or my managers or directors uncomfortable is a form of advocating for myself. And it was new, but it was necessary for my own well-being and my own wellness within the space in a sector that can easily leave you wasted. This work is exhausting, emotionally, mentally, physically. It impacts you, it impacts your livelihood, it impacts your family, it impacts workplace culture, it impacts so many things within your ecosystem of life.
Wow.
The importance is that we accept and understand the importance of healing through the process. Stopping, allowing ourselves to recharge and to regain and to reflect on the work that's being done. We see it in sabbaticals where people are allowed the opportunity to invest in themselves and their education. We see it in healthcare where respite opportunities. But much of that work is very similar to the work that we're doing. And it's important that we're allowed the opportunity to rest and to come together with people to restore some things like maybe compassion fatigue or burnout that are weighing very heavy in our work, because this work, in order for us to make it to the finish line, we're going to need to rest. Because we can't constantly run. And this space allows us the opportunity to do just that. And I definitely encourage folks who would like to be part of this space and to be part of this marathon or this lifetime commitment to service and community, that they come into this space and embrace the importance of slowing down and accepting it as something beautiful and an opportunity, because equity is opportunity and opportunities is an investment, and investment is money. So at the end of the day, it's about how we open this space and who gives us the opportunity to be part of this.